Welcome in to the Soarin Sports podcast. I am your host, Braden, and as always, I am joined by the pineapple from down south, the king of the ocean. Well, maybe. We'll see. The king of the chicken barbecue. Well, we could keep going with these fun nicknames, but we got Alan Pena, also known on this podcast as Pineapple. And, you know, I like to have some fun every now and then. I'm trying something new today.
Yeah, that's true. It's always good to try something new, spice it up, and give variety to the show. Which is it's always great to hear that. Really.
Oh yeah, and so we're going to talk some baseball today. It was opening day yesterday. Many of you have listened to our MLB season preview at this point, so we're just going to give some quick thoughts as to, essentially what happened yesterday. Kind of give a quick recap and quick few announcements, and yeah. So, as mentioned, I am Braden, or 22 Coladas, and we have Alan Pena, or Pineapple, depending on your persuasion. This is all from a certain point of view, So, let's get right into some announcements here today, Alan. Starting off, this is going to be the first podcast we're also going to publish on our YouTube channel. We're going to set that up here today. We're going to have a YouTube channel where you can see our lovely faces. They're going to be pre-recorded episodes, as the same as our podcast feed. So yeah, if you want to watch the videos, see what we look like, see what we got going on in the background, what we do as we record, that is more than fine. We're looking into maybe possibly start doing live recordings along with other things. We got a lot in store for you guys. And we got Alan, do you want to announce the next couple series we got coming up, or do you want me to?
One of the series that we're going to start is we're going to talk about historic rivalries. And these rivalries are going to bring into perspective the impact that it's had for teams and communities, and also talk about what these rivalries bring out of not just the players but also the fans. So we will talk a lot of rivalries that will occur in the sports that we cover. Just sit tight, and we're going to have a lot of fun talking rivalries. And also with us going to YouTube, that will give a great opportunity for you guys to chime in on your memories in regards to the rivalries that we will talk about in this podcast.
Oh yeah, for sure. Alan, I was writing a paper the other day for a class, and in the paper I gave an analogy about the Red Sox and the Yankees and rivalry, and how as fans we can be close-minded about certain things. But yeah, and so it served as an inspiration for what this series is going to turn out to be. So we're going to start off with football, soccer rivalries. We haven't quite decided which one we're going to start off with. Maybe in Barcelona and Madrid. We're not entirely sure yet, but we're going to start off with the soccer rivalries that are more worldwide. And then, just because this is kind of getting to the lull in a lot of the sports seasons we covered. I mean, baseball's just getting started, so there's not going to be much stuff to talk about baseball-wise. NHL trade deadline's coming up next week. Or a couple weeks from now. That's also going to be covered by us. You're going to hear quite a bit from us, but it's really kind of like the downswing in a lot of the sports we cover. Basketball is kind of just winding down to the playoffs. Of course, we'll do playoff previews for both NBA and NHL as those regular seasons wrap up. So this is kind of the lull in sports where there's not a whole lot to talk about that we cover here on this more broader league, podcast that we do. We're looking into maybe doing specific league podcasts soon. We are trying to become a media network, so we're trying to get that started. Just kind of give you guys an in-depth look at what we're trying to do. Another thing that we're happy to announce is, while it might not have been the most popular series that we have done here on Pineapple 22 Media's Soarin Sports, it was fun for us to do, and so we're going to bring it back and make it a bit better, do things a bit differently. And that is the first international player in each of the leagues we've covered. If you recall, we have covered the NBA with all these players, and international sport and the international leagues of basketball as well. I mean, we did Sabonis and Arvidas and Yao Ming, some of these more well-known basketball players. And if you haven't actually listened to those episodes, go back and listen to them. They're great episodes, very informative, very impactful, as well as we discuss these players as who they were, their life, as well as just the impact they had on the game that we can see even now, and that's kind of why we're doing the series and we're bringing it back. We're going to kick it off with the NHL, and we're going to kick it off with the league that a league that we're familiar with, the NHL. And we're going to talk about, let me look up his name real quick. I always forget his name, but it's essentially the first Swedish player in the NHL.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll have more of these back. They're going to be stories that you never heard of, or stories that you have heard of, but it's like a different element, and that's what we're going to bring here in Soarin Sports. And really, it will give an opportunity to reflect on these heroes that have created a path for many others to follow in today's world.
And that we're going to talk about Ulf Sterner. He was the first Swedish player in the NHL, his impact and legacy, and just what that's brought to the NHL. So, as Alan mentioned, it's going to be fun to go through these stories once again, as kind of there's the lull in the 4 leagues we talk about. But yeah, so we're still going to cover the news and everything that happens. But yeah, we're excited to bring these series back for you guys. We trying to return to our roots in a little bit, or for a little bit as well. And yeah, so those are just a few announcements we got. Again, we have the merch store. Links are in our social media pages. All you gotta do is go there and get those t-shirts or hats or whatever you want to get that has stuff we say here from us here on this podcast. It's the best way to support us, as well as we've launched our Patreon. We're going to be on YouTube, so just keep an eye out for this new stuff we got coming. You guys that are here on the podcast are going to be the first to know about it. So yeah, let's get right into the baseball, Alan.
Yeah,
baseball has a very special connection to me. It's I don't know how to describe it, but it's something that just it makes you happy to see baseball back with fans in the stands. America's national pastime is back with fans supporting their team. And Alan, I don't know where you want to start, but I kind of want to start with one of the last few games of the day with Oakland Astros.
Okay.
Just because I was watching that game as I was writing a paper, the paper that gave the inspiration for our next series, as well as just other homework that I had going on that night. And it was interesting for me because not only in a way, I had moved on from the Astros cheating scandal. But a lot of MLB fans probably haven't, and especially Oakland fans who were directly affected by that scandal. Not being able to win the division because of that for the past who knows how long. Excuse me. And the Oakland fans, they let the Astros hear it. Altuve and Correa got very heavy booing all night whenever they would step up to the plate. And when Carlos Correa got a hit by pitch, the crowd actually cheered. And that's the first time in the long time I've been watching baseball I've actually seen that happen.
Yeah, I do agree with you with that.
And yeah, so let's kind of talk about that. Like, why is this happening? Why is this, still, why are a lot of fans not moving on, you think, Alan?
Just look at the punishment. That's, to me, the coup de grace, the straw that makes fans, even players, mad from the other teams. Is just the punishment. It was basically like, it's like they basically were, their punishment was, okay, I'm just gonna pinch them. That's it. There's no like we're gonna take away picks. We're gonna take away something. It's like they didn't lose nothing. It was just mostly no big deal. We're just gonna suspend the GM and the managers and whoever was responsible and the players. They're not gonna get in trouble. They're gonna get immunity, and that's what it came down to. Just as simple as that. The punishment was like on. It was just nothing. It was just nothing, and I do believe that is why the fans are still mad, just because of the punishment that they got. Do I believe should have been harsher? It should have, but I don't know what in the world the commissioner were thinking, and what other people, whoever did the investigation, thought this was a good idea to punish them lightly.
Yeah, and I think that's just a major problem that all sports leagues have been dealing with lately is the punishments to things have been very lackluster. We're not seeing the responses that we probably should to certain things like this in particular. So it's very discouraging when you learn about just how much this has impacted people, with careers getting impacted and possibly ending because of this, and just among other things, we've, like, just if you guys want to learn more about it, just go read the Athletic Ken Rosenthal article. There's a John Boy breakdown of it. There's a Foolish Baseball bits on it. There's just the information's out there. We're not going to go too much further into this, mostly just because it's been talked about to death. But here's what I want to ask you, Alan. Do you think the boos and the cheers for negative things that happened towards the Mets are actually affecting the team for the positive, because they've kind of, they themselves have moved past it? Because I don't know if you saw the score last night, Alan. The game was a blowout. The Astros ended up whopping the Oakland A's butts. I'll look up the score real quick because I don't remember it off the top of my head. I want to say it was 8-1. Yeah, 8-1. So I think it had the reverse effect of what fans wanted to have happen.
And I do understand that. I think Houston, they know this is, and I'm just saying this is my opinion. I hope others do agree. Is that if not, then that's okay. It's not the end of the world. But I think this is the last hurrah for the Astros, because after this season, pretty much half the team will be gone. Pretty much. So I think they want to play with a chip on their shoulder, like saying, "Oh, you can boo us all you want, hit us all you want." So, but we're still gonna be the top dog in the division, and we're not going anywhere. So I think this is, like you mentioned it, like they're gonna just take it and be like, okay, that's how you feel about us, that's fine. We're gonna go show you. And it has been a history where teams, not obviously that didn't cheat like or did something like this, but that they were like, just because of who they are, they get booed a lot and all, and at times tackled hard or fouled hard, that it's just one of those, okay, that's what you think of us, like, that's fine. There's no hard feelings. We're still going to go kick your butts. So I truly do believe, like, for the Astros, this is, they want to, if they're going to go out, they're going to go out on their own terms. And that's who they are. And that's their identity that I have really, I'll say this, like, what they did was unacceptable, but the identity that they've created in the past years, they have shown that this will not bring us down. It's only going to motivate us.
Agreed. And I think we're going to see a lot of that this year. Overall, Alan, I think I still have the A's winning the division, but I think the Astros are going to be highly motivated this year. So
they will. Like I mentioned, this is the last straw. It is. This is the last straw. This is the last hurrah. we're probably gonna see the Astros compete how they compete. So, and they got time to figure out the whole George Springer situation. Who's gonna be the leadoff? So that is something to keep an eye on. And can they do it? They can, but we're gonna find out. We're truly gonna find out, and really, may the booing tour begin. Pretty much, may it begin, and these players better be also mentally ready. And I know they are, but to be hit a lot, because that's what's gonna happen. Especially again, because the Dodgers are coming to Houston again, and do you know what's going to happen there? So this is going to be something they're going to have to be ready for. Like they got to be stronger, not just physically, but mentally, because they know they're going to get hit a lot, and they cannot react crazy. Because if they do, then it pretty much gives me the message that they're they're too weak. And Houston with the Astros, they've built a tough mindset, and I think they can do it. It's just they gotta be prepared for it, be mentally tough, and just go with it, because that's what they're gonna get. And I don't know what else to say about this, but just be mentally tough. That's it.
No, I definitely agree with that. I mean, yeah, like, and Astros fans out there, like, you can't really ask fans or the players even, because I don't think the players have fully gotten over it. But like, you can't really ask them just yet to move on and forget all about it. We understand what that championship meant for you as the town of Houston, with everything that was going on in Houston back in 2017. So we get that part, and that championship will forever be yours. We're not trying to take that away from you, but you got to understand that this affects a lot of people who follow the game of baseball, and it's turned away a lot of people from baseball too because of this. And you got to understand that until the fans feel they've given their 2 cents on this matter at games in person, this won't go away until hopefully next year, if you're an Astros fan. Granted, I don't think this ever will go away, but like, I think the booing and everything might die down by next year.
I think the only way it will go away is if there's another team that decides, oh, let's go ahead and steal signs the way the Astros did. Because basically those teams are going to think, oh, the Astros got the punishment. Well, guess what? We can get that punishment. It won't be a big deal. But I think baseball should learn their lesson. Like, okay, we cannot hand out a punishment like this on that magnitude ever again. And this is where also the league has to learn, like, this was the punishment. It didn't work. So we gotta like hammer it and go hard. So I truly do believe this is also about the league making that adjustment.
No, I definitely agree with that. And, Alan, I didn't think we're going to get too much into the cheating scandal here in the first segment of our podcast, but like,
yeah, that is,
it really turned out that way. And I think it needed to be said because like fans are back in the stands, which is awesome. We're finally towards the tail end of this pandemic, and guys, we still have to be smart. We still have to be safe. I think overall, Alan, between the two of us, when sports came back, I was a little more conservative than you were. You were like, let's bring them back, and I was like, as long as things are safe and we're good, that's okay. So I think that's probably still the case for the two of us. Like, it's awesome fans are back, but we got to be safe. We got to do things the right way. You may be thinking the same way as I don't know. I don't want to speak for you, but like, I just kind of how our reactions were, a year ago around this time, like it seems I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of how we're still thinking.
Yeah, I get it. Like it's one of those like, yeah, we're a little bit moving towards normalcy, but also it's like still take your precautions and all and go from there. But I think really the fans being back is gonna bring a lot of awareness to their feelings on the Astros. So
Mm.
keep an eye on that. A lot of stadiums are gonna be wild, especially those teams that were affected. So that's really, I think, the big thing now. Like fans' reaction, and like you mentioned, it won't go away till next year, or unless another team decides to take that route, having the mindset of we're just gonna get punished lightly, no big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's time we move on from this game in
Yeah,
particular,
absolutely.
in this topic. So we'll go into segment 2 here, and that's just give our general reactions for the rest of the day. Alan, before we go into that, and I this is kind of how I wanted the first segment to go, but sometimes plans change because things you want to talk about come up differently, and subjects come up. And I wanted to get your thoughts on the Oakland game, and that just kind of came first. But so when opening day comes back, opening day every year, what goes through your mind? How do you feel? Like, what emotions does opening day
It's just
invoke
one
for
of
you?
those. Okay, I'll get to sit on my couch and watch and just have a good time. Really, that's all it comes down to. The years now from being a college student, married and all, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna sit down, like make sure everything's taken care of, so I can go watch several games. It's like one of those days where you just want to watch baseball for one day and go from there. And really, the good thing about baseball, it's a marathon. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And pretty much like if with all other things going on, there'll be days where it's like, okay, you want to watch a movie, go out, and that's perfect because that's the great thing about life in general. But it's like, you know what? Oh, there's a baseball game. There's a baseball game. Like you're not gonna get cheated any other way, especially if you watch it on, if you hear it on the radio. And I've had experiences watching it, hearing it on the radio with when Vince Scully called Dodger games. So it's pretty much like where you could just sit out in the back patio, backyard, wherever, or driving in the car while doing groceries and just listen to the game. And I think that's what I like about baseball. It gives you that sense of I can just relax, talk, watch the game, but also like if you're watching it in person, it's like you could talk about other things. You could talk about school, movies. You could talk about at times work, but I wouldn't do that. Or talk about just joking around and still have a great time watching the game. It's the only sport, in my opinion, that gives you that comfort level. And really, I've had friends telling me that they've never seen a baseball game until one time they went to see the Rockies, and they said, "Oh, I had a lot of fun because I got to relax. I got to not worry about, okay, am I missing anything?" So that is the great about opening day and watching baseball just for that occasion because it just lifts a burden off of you. It just makes you relax and be like, okay, like baseball's back. Let's just have a good time.
Yeah, I think for me, it signals a time of good times. It's like good times are finally back.
Mhm.
Like summer's here. Like I don't know, like it's just summer's finally here. Like and everything. Great feelings are had in summer, fun's had in summer, and I think like you were getting at, baseball might be the only sport out there where you feel like you can bring your family to a game and not worry about the environment that you're exposing the little kids to.
Yeah.
Because I'm like everywhere, like you get your drunk, rowdy kid people, your rude people, like you just get that everywhere. But like at a baseball game, you don't notice it as much because it's family friendly and it's there to. It's just there, like you're saying, like you can be there and you can talk about the weather, the game, uh, family life, whatever you want to talk about. Like, it's a great date. It really is.
Yeah.
Because like it's a good environment. and it's family friendly. It's a safe environment. But also like it's 3+ hours long, and like if it's just a great way to sit down, talk to the date, see what their thoughts are, who they are. It's like a great first date almost. Alan, I think you were telling me that a long time ago. Like baseball's the best first date ever.
Yeah, that is true. I never looked at it that way until I saw research on that. But yeah, baseball, it's very versatile in what and how you want to like approach the day. And it really is. And really it just gives you like it's one of those sports that you just like okay, like you can even sleep through a baseball game. Like and
I've done it.
you miss anything. I've probably done that twice. So I know it's like sleep, but it's just one of those. Like it makes you just sleep, relax, and then you just hear a boom on the bat. Then it's like okay, and that is like then you can see what happened, and that's what baseball does. It's like one of those like okay, I'm gonna slow down, and then all of a sudden, bam. So that's just the great thing about baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like like there's been times that when you hear that crack. I was trying to find a clip for us, but I couldn't find it. But yeah, so like you hear that like loud thwack, and you see the fans rise. You hear the loud cheers. You see the ball go over the fence. Home run. There's no other feeling in sports that gives that same feeling of a home run, base hit, great double play, hell, even a triple play. Like you don't see that very often. So like the emotions that baseball evokes is just unreal, and you go through all of them in 6 months, and like while there's not going to be a whole lot of optimism for my Rockies this year, they did beat the Dodgers yesterday, Alan.
That's just one game. That's just one game. So I'm not worried. I'm not like, oh my, I can't believe it. I can't believe the Dodgers lost to the Rockies. I can't believe it. It's over. No, no way.
I'm sure there's some fans out there that are saying that, but
who's saying that?
No, I'm sure there's some fans out there.
Well, those fans should not say anything on that. It's just one game. Relax. I was like, okay, they beat us. It's one game. No big deal, Now, if it was game 163 and it's wild card, then okay, we'll have a different conversation. But still, don't be like, oh, we're about to lose. I don't know what to do. Like, we're in a World Series hangover. What is this? No, it's no big deal. Like, one game out of what? 160, 162, 161 to go. It's no big deal. Like, happy that you beat us, but I'm like, whatever. We still have a lot of baseball to go, and there's still a lot of work to do, and that's the great thing about baseball. They don't care who you are. Baseball is one of those sports, like, doesn't matter who you are, you have to start from scratch, and you got time for it. You do. There's time.
Oh yeah, and like I think it just was like a ray of sunshine in Rocks Nation after the Nolan Arenado trade. That like, hey, we won a game. We won the first game of the year. Like that was just a small ray of sunshine. And whether or not it stays that way, that's up for debate. We all know how I feel about that. It's not going to happen this year. But like, it was nice to kind of see, hey, the kids did something, like.
Yeah.
And it was kind of nice, and Alan, I agree with you. It's one game out of 162. Like, it's not going to matter much in the end. But like, I didn't get excited because I was like, hey, we just beat the Dodgers. Like, that's awesome. Like, I didn't get excited, but it was just, or optimistic about the season. But it's just like, well, that was cool, Like first game home in front of the fans, opening day, you won the game. Cool. It's not going to happen very often. So that was kind of fun. But yeah, like Dodgers fans, don't panic. It's just a game.
Yeah.
Like you got 162. You're going to beat the Rocks later on in the year. Like it don't matter.
Yeah.
In fact, some of the highlights I watched yesterday from commercials and whatnot were multiple highlights of the Dodgers beating down the Rockies. So
yeah, I know, but yeah, I'm not worried. I think nobody for Dodger Nation should not worry. It's just one game. We got a lot to go. There's still a lot of work to do, and that's the great thing. As I mentioned about baseball, you got time to do work, but make sure you do it, because if you don't do the work, it's gonna come back and bite you, and it'll be too late. So go work it, and there's still plenty of time to turn it around. There's still plenty of time. One loss does not mean the end of the world. No, it's okay. Let's go to work and go kick butt. That's it.
yeah, it's one game, and some teams they got a great start to the season. Other teams not so much. The Yankees lost yesterday to my Blue Jays. I'm going to claim the Blue Jays this year just for the fun of it. I picked them to win the World Series. I think I should at least follow them this year.
Well, you better follow them. Like you pick them, you better follow them. Because I'm still holding you to that. I still am. So.
I know.
So we'll see what happens. But I would say they did impress me without George Springer. I thought that is a huge loss in the beginning. Hopefully his injury is not serious. He come back in no time. But we'll keep an eye on them, see what they do, because I was intrigued by them. I'm still not picking them. I was just intrigued.
Yeah, and it's an off day for the series right now for whatever reason. They're not playing again until Saturday. But yeah, it was interesting to see.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
So Orioles Red Sox, they got postponed yesterday. I didn't hear anything as to why.
It's the rain.
Yeah, weather in Boston is tricky sometimes.
Yeah, right now that's what it is in Boston every year, what I've been told. So, but it'll be back in no time.
Actually playing right now, so.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good.
Orioles are up 2-0, bottom of the sixth. So, the opening series between Mets and Nationals has been postponed. Alan, you and I were looking forward to that series.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm sure Buster Olney of ESPN was looking forward to that. He was going to be broadcasting the game in DC. I followed him on his podcast, Baseball Tonight, so he was sounding really excited about that all week.
Oh, I know.
The Mariners are kind of like my Rockies. They always seem to usually will start the season off really hot, and then they trickle off. Same thing happened yesterday, I think we saw a lot of good progress from the rookies and the young guys of the Mariners, beating the Giants 8-7 after 10 innings. But yeah, I think we're going to – obviously it's the Giants, and you and I aren't very high on the Giants this year.
Yeah.
But, so it's a good win. Get some confidence in you, Mariners. But I don't expect them to have a lot of wins this year, Alan. What about you?
I feel the same. I don't know what else to say about the Mariners. Like, they're going to be a team that they do well, and then once it gets down to the clutch seasons of August and September, then they become the typical Mariners. So I don't know what else to say on that.
Maybe they'll surprise us this year.
Probably. We'll see. Hopefully, if they do, all right. If not, then didn't surprise us either.
Angels beat the White Sox yesterday 4-0. Or 4-3, sorry. Misread the score. I saw the 0 of a different score. So, that's an exciting score for Angels fans. I think some of the takeaways I have from that is there's some hope for Angels fans this year. Like, you beat one of the best teams in all of baseball right now in the White Sox, and you got the save. So like, I think while you gave up 3 runs, there's some good takeaways from that. Angels
Their
fans.
pitching has to give them hope. That is it, because we know the bats, they can score runs. They can, no doubt about it. But it's gonna be the pitching, because later on they're gonna have games where instead of being 4-3, it's gonna be like 1-0, and their pitching has to come up. So pretty much, I would keep an eye on the Angels if they make a trade deadline for a quality starting pitcher. I would do that if you want to get to the postseason and watch Mike Trout in the postseason perform. So pitching has to give them hope. If not, then they're gonna end up where they always end up, looking outside.
Yeah. So I'd agree to that. There's some hope, but you got to have better pitching. Obviously, you can't let up 3 runs every day because your lineup's going to have off days. So your pitching's got to be better.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it pans out. But I still think the Angels make the playoffs this year. But we'll have to wait and see. Rays beat the Marlins yesterday. That's not really much of a surprise. The Marlins look good. They're not, the best team or best versions of themselves. And the Marlins have always had a bit of a slow start to the season every year.
The Braves beat them?
Rays.
Oh, Rays. Okay, I thought we talked about the Braves. Yeah, that's true. We'll see what the Rays will look like, because they lost their starting pitcher and Blake Snell. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about that matchup. It's yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Rangers Royals, bit of a bad pitching game. Both teams let up 5 runs in the first.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. I listened to part of it in the radio.
But yeah, the Royals come out 14-10. I think the Royals lineup's better than you and I had originally thought.
I do believe so. Yeah, just having a bat like Andrew Benintendi, like, it makes your lineup pretty confident. Like, okay, we can get some hits. So
hit they did.
Yeah, pretty much they did. So they just gotta fix their pitching situation. But Kansas City is one of those teams that I think if they can keep this up, they can do something. But as of right now, we have to wait and see if there's some consistency, especially with their pitching. So we have to see what Kansas City does later on.
Agreed. Cardinals Reds 11-6. Cardinals lineup just hits, man. They mash baseballs. Yeah, they were led by Goldschmidt and Arenado. I don't got much to say about the game, really.
Yeah, me neither. We just mentioned that the Cardinals, they're to me the San Antonio Spurs, I would say, of Major League Baseball, because like every year they're not talked about for World Series contenders, yet they're always in the World Series or just about a game or 2 away from the World Series. Always, and that's why I think like the Cardinals, they're not a team to mess with, and I think they're gonna get it through. So I don't know what else to say about this game, really.
No, there's not much to say other than that Arenado's given his defensive talents to a contender this year. So
yeah, absolutely.
Padres beat the Diamondbacks 8-7. That was a close game, back to back. It felt like San Diego or Arizona had a good rally in the 5th inning, scoring 6 runs, but it didn't seem to be enough. The Padres came back and scored 2 more in the next subsequent innings. So
yeah.
Pirates beat the Cubs 5-3. While I don't think the Pirates are going to win very many series, I think losing to the Pirates in the first game of the year, it's got to be a big loss of confidence if you're a Cubs fan.
A little bit, but I think, look, they're under a new manager, and what's this uh and Ross, and they're gonna figure it out. They're the Cubs. They will adjust. Like they'll figure it out. Do I have them making the playoffs? No, but they're gonna find a way through it. They will.
Yeah, I'm sure
Actually,
they will.
no. Ross, I think it's in the second year. My
Yeah,
bad.
it's his second year. His first
Yeah,
year
it's
was
the
last year.
second year, so it'll take time. But knowing how he did his first year, he's gonna still bring a lot of optimism to the players. He's played for that organization. He knows what it's like. So like they're gonna be good. I have no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah. I Tigers beat Cleveland. Not much really there is to say about it other than the that Miguel Cabrera. I think he's back to his old mashing baseball's ways, and
That could be a start. That could be a start. Just one swing in the opener can bring a lot of confidence. Hopefully, Miguel can be back to his old self. Doesn't mean he's gonna hit it for a triple crown, but at least start hitting where he's becoming one of those elite hitters in all of baseball. Because when he does well, I feel that the game does well. So like Miguel Cabrera, the more he hits, the more he creates runs, then it makes the game watchable. And because he is one guy that every time I watch him bat, it's like I don't want to miss anything. So that's great for Miguel, and that's great for baseball to see him back again.
yeah, I mean he's lost quite a bit of weight in between the past 2 years, and I think that's going to be to his benefit. He's on. I think as he wraps the end of his season, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it will be absolutely.
So yeah, I mean the rest of the games aren't really too noteworthy, Alan. Yankees lost to the Blue Jays 3-2 in the 10th inning. Blue Jays come and score, and Aaron Judge late commented he felt like he left his team down. I didn't watch the game, so I don't because I was at work. Alan, do you have any
Okay.
details on that?
Uh, I didn't hear about that. I do get him saying that. But look, there's still a lot of time for a lot of these teams to that we picked to get themselves back on track. And
Yeah.
I think what I did learn about that game is like, okay, I think these two are gonna go at it for the division.
Mm-hmm. I told
And
you.
well, yeah, obviously, I'm right about that. But I think they're gonna go for the division. But I still give the edge to the Yankees. They like to me the Yankees. They're like one of those. You do have talent. I don't know what's going on with you, so take advantage of it and run with it. You got time. You got time. You better start winning. But I do. I That's what I learned pretty much. Those two are gonna go at it for the division. So um, I will keep an eye on as well. So there's still time. There's still time. It's just one game, and just move forward. There's no way to rephrase it. Really.
No, there's not. I just find it funny that I'm like, hey, I told you, and you're like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well. Hey. Well. Because the George Springer thing, along with several other key players, was a concern. I'm like, you sure Brady are going to go with the Blue Jays? Are you sure?
Well, injuries happen to every team, and the Yankees have experienced tons of injuries in the past 2 years. Injuries are inevitable in baseball. It's 6 months long. Uh, the George Springer thing is a minor oblique grade 2 strain, not super
Okay.
terrible. They're expecting him to return next week, even. But the blow to Kirby Yates was a big loss, but because he's getting Tommy John, but like the pitching of the Blue Jays is still phenomenal in a lot of ways. They weren't too bad, and giving up only 2 runs, but from the monster Yankee lineup, that's impressive. So
Yeah, it was impressive.
So yeah, Twins Brewer. There's a lot of games that went to extra innings. I don't like the runner on second base in the 10th inning. I think give me an inning or two, just more extra innings like regular baseball, and then go to the California rules, I think is what it's called, where you have the runner on second base. Like I like it, but I just want another inning or two of just regular baseball, because like extra inning walkouts, they just don't have the same feeling anymore. Now, granted, I did watch one yesterday and it was fantastic and I loved it. But I don't know. My jury's still out on the whole runner on second base rule.
I think to me it's just simple. Like, okay, like you have a runner on second. If you're on bat, get him home. And for the pitcher, the defense, it's like, okay, not let him advance. Period. Get the routes. That's the key, pretty much. Like, it's like you got to make your stand. So I think to me, I love it. I enjoy it, and it's just one of those. Okay, you got to bring it extra innings. It's not like, oh, extra innings. Okay, I'm gonna relax for a bit. There's no one. There's someone on second. You better. Even if they would put someone on first, it's like, okay, I better.
See, I think I'd enjoy a runner on first a bit more, because it makes it a bit harder and might make it go a bit longer. But like that being said, I still think the rule is a great rule and it helps the game. I don't know, like while the walk-off yesterday was phenomenal and fantastic to see, like the one I was watching was Gene Segura hits a walk-off single and like scores Bryce Harper in from third base. And while like the emotions run high, you know, I kind of like the Phillies. Like I'm in the closet Phillies fan, maybe. Partially just because I really like Bryce Harper. He's a great guy and a great baseball player. I know that's not a popular take with a lot of baseball fans out there, but like the guy's a good player. Like, come on, like he's matured a lot over the years, and cause you got to remember when he first came to baseball, he was 19 years old. You know, like not everyone's the most mature guy at 19 years old.
Yeah, pretty much.
But like, you know, Gene Segura walks it off, base hit down the middle, against the shift even. I mean, and gets that run in right. And it, like, I cheered. I was ecstatic. You know, like, what, Phillies win. Let that bell ring. Excuse me, but like, I don't know. For something for me about it just felt off. Like, but maybe it's just because I haven't seen a whole lot of games with it in yet. So when we do our next baseball game, or not baseball game, when we do our next baseball episode, we'll check in with my thoughts on that. Okay. I think that's something that I have to see a bit more of.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Just watch them. I think it gives. I've seen a lot of those games where you have someone on second in extra innings, so it's just like you get to see more of it in action. So the more you see, then the better you'll come to understand the why. And if you still keep that, want to still say, oh, it still sucks, then all right, that's your mindset, and we're not gonna dispute that. Not even one single iota, not one single bit.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think it's a great rule and it's good for the game. I just think personally, as of right now, I just haven't seen it enough to make a full-on decision on whether or not I like it or not. Mm-hmm. And I think it's one of those rules where you either like it or you don't. But right now I'm in the middle because I haven't really watched a whole lot of baseball with it in it. Like last year in the playoffs, it wasn't in there, and I watched a lot of playoff baseball last year.
Yeah.
So extra innings from last I saw baseball was last year's playoffs. And I think in the playoffs, it goes back to that still. I haven't seen anything saying California rules in the playoffs yet. Mm-hmm. But until then, you know, like, it is what it is. but I think it's a great rule, and it can help forward the game. But we have to wait and see, personally, for me. So
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, let's. I guess let's kind of, we're winding down here, Alan. Let's go into our final segment here. Anything else you just want to talk about?
No, just pretty much like day one of baseball has been great. We mentioned fans are back in some limited capacity. Just one team with full capacity, but still, like it's great to see fans back. I think we're gonna keep seeing that little by little, and by hopefully next year, things settle down. That it's like everyone, welcome back to the ballpark. So it's just we're just getting started of a marathon, and really just enjoy the ride, and once in a while catch a baseball game. Like you never know what you're gonna get, and it's one of those where you can just relax, sit back, and just enjoy a great game, a great opportunity to even especially enjoy the weather wherever you are, even if it's cold, just to really enjoy the opportunity to listen to a baseball game. Like there's no price for that a bit, one single bit. So just enjoy the ride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This has just kind of come across the wire as we're recording. MLB has moved the All-Star game away from Atlanta.
Yeah.
They're playing some politics here since Georgia's made a change in their voting rules. I don't know about too much about it. I just know this has happened. And I guess the Braves have said that the team is very disappointed in baseball's decision to move the All-Star game. Alan, you got any thoughts on that? I mean, this is just happening now. So
Yeah, I know. I just saw that. I do get the decision. I wish there could have been better ways of handling it. I'll look at it forward. I'll look into it again. Well, I only saw it briefly, but I'll look into it in detail. But I wish this could have been handled better. This could have been handled under more better circumstances. But it is what it is, and I don't have full thought reaction to this. But as I mentioned, I'll read it again, and that way we'll just hit brief thoughts on it next time. But other than that, should have been handled better circumstances. But it is what it is.
yeah, like I don't got too many thoughts on it just because I don't know what's going on fully. All I know is, and we don't like to talk politics on this podcast, but all I know is Georgia's made a change in voting rules, and MLB didn't like it, and so this is a retaliation against the state of Georgia, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we'll have to wait and see, learn more about it, give our full thoughts on this another time.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah. Yeah, so sounds like we're kind of winding down here, Alan. You have one more announcement I know you want to make.
Oh, which one?
What we had something happen recently, and it's finally been published. Why don't you announce it yourself since you wrote it?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah. Well, couple weeks ago, we were reached by a company called, and correct me if I'm wrong, Braden, Stadium Gear and Apparel. Is that correct?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe it's called My Stadium Gear and Apparel. Let me.
Thank you.
I will double check that real quick.
Okay,
Let me open the email.
As Brandon is checking it out, I had the opportunity. We've had the opportunity to write a blog, and we talked about college basketball from an international perspective. And I basically wrote about that and mentioning Gonzaga, which in their past history for the past 15 years, or actually I would say for the past 20 years, they've always featured multiple international players on the team. I talked about how watching them does bring a lot of interest to to recruiting international players and also the impact that they make on the team. So check it out. It's on my stadium gearandapparel.com.
Just mystadiumgear.com.
Okay, thank you.
We'll have the link in our episode description and notes.
So guys, check it out. You're gonna love it. I also have another article about NBA International MVP concerning two of the top MVP players are international, on Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. So check it out as well. It should be coming out. Give it
Hopefully
a few weeks.
Soon.
Pretty soon.
We'll announce it here when it does.
But we will announce it. Yes, thank you. We will announce it when it comes out, and check it out. Give it a read. Share your thoughts on it. And really, this is great having to write, because it gives an opportunity to know more about how we feel about these topics, how we feel about sports hitting the international market and the impact that it does. So check out those articles and really put it into perspective of what impact can players from outside the U.S. can do. And around the world.
Yeah. On today's 2nd of April, we're gonna post on our social media about it. If anyone's associated with my stadium gear is listening to this particular episode, we just want to say thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
It really means a lot to us that you'd reach out and ask us to do this for you. It just means a lot to us. So thanks for this opportunity.
And a shout out to you guys. You guys have been great in letting us write, and we'll be truly honored to do it again. And really, you guys, you do great stuff. I've seen some of your gears, some of the other blogs that it really makes me think about sports in general. So shout out to you guys. Keep it up, and you guys are amazing.
Yeah, can have said it better myself, Alan. But yeah, so yeah, we'll wrap it up for today. Quick update for Orioles fans that might be tuning in. You guys are top of the 8th, beating the Boston Red Sox 2-0. Congratulations if this score holds out. By the time this is published, you'll know for sure. But yeah, it looks like Orioles beat the Red Sox in their opening day matchup. So
yeah.
But yeah, so we'll end it here. Everybody, thanks for the support you guys gave us last month. It really means a lot to us. You guys kind of blew us up. We saw the most growth we've ever seen on our podcast last month. And that just really is exciting for us. Let's try and keep going this month. Let's keep that positive momentum going. Tell your friends and family about us. Share us with your friends. And next time you hear from us, we'll be talking about, a soccer rivalry. We haven't figured out which one yet.
Yeah, but stay tuned.
Stay tuned. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Till next time, buddies.